And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're taking a look at a game called Mezo. Now, Mezo, a game from John Cloudis. You have these giant gods and Aztecs fighting each other over different areas, trying to get the most glory. It looks like a Blood Rage Rising Sun style game from Kaman, or not. This one actually is from Colossal Games. It has big, giant, cool miniatures and a lot of fighting back and forth. There's a lot going on in this game, and I recommend, if you have a chance, to go and watch a live playthrough of it, where we talk you through how we're playing through the game that we did back when the game was on Kickstarter. But at this point, I'm just going to give kind of a quick overview and then tell you what I think of the game. In this game, each player is going to get a color that's full of warriors and shaman, and you're going to pick one of the 4 different gods that comes with the game, putting it based on the show that is yours. You're going to get a bunch of cards, so there are 4 different gods here, and at this point, I'm going to say this. I don't know how to pronounce any of these people's names, so I'm going to probably not do that. I'm just going to call him Dragon and the guy pouring water that he then is somehow sitting on at the same time. So you're going to get a set of cards. You also get a board here to keep track of various things over the course of the game. You'll flip over one of these randomly at the beginning of the game, and it's going to be basically shut down. You're not going to be able to use that region. You might do 2 in a 3-player game. The rest of the regions are fair game. And as time goes by, you're going to be putting your champion on the board, and then you're also going to be putting warriors on the board. Your gods are going to be actually hanging out on these vertices that are between different regions on the board. And boom! Here we got figures all over the board. Now, gods have presence in the regions that they're attached to on these vertices, and players are going to be trying to appease these gods and not get sent to warriors are going to be sent down here to Jabobo, which is basically dead stuff as the game goes by. Players are going to be attempting to build pyramids, different levels of pyramids throughout the game, and there's a lot of different things you're keeping track of, but it's all about getting points. There is a point tracker here at the top of the board, and players, this is one of those games where you can't have the same score as somebody else, so you might be able to jump over someone's score marker when you move. The game takes place over 3 ages, and in each of these ages, different things are going to happen. Players are going to pick on their board kind of a special thing that you can do. So you'll pick one of these in age 1, one of these in age 2, one of these in age 3. Everyone has the same ones on their board, but you can pick different things per player. Players will be calling their gods each turn. At the beginning of the game, you'll put it there, but after that, you're going to be moving them and using the call ability of their god. So maybe this one here, for example, this guy can move units equal to the current age in a region where your god has presence to any other region. So he can send people out. Smite 1 unit, recover units equal to the current age. So, smite 1 unit here, and then get some units back of their own. So I don't know if they're turning them into zombies or what. So each of these has a call ability that they can do. Then each player is going to draw 3 cards off the top of their deck and pick one of these cards that they're going to be using each turn, putting the ones they don't pick back on top of their deck. Each of the players has a very specific, different, unique deck of cards, and there's 3 actions in the card, and you can usually just do 2 of them, although you can demolish a glyph to do all 3 of them. Players are going to be trying to determine this because you're going to be turning over one of these cards here, and that card is going to show you the region, and this one here, that the conflict is going to be occurring in this turn. And so players are going to do various things, like for example, I could do this action, which is call, or build in this conflict. You can move one of your units in this conflict to another region, smite a unit, exile one of your units in this conflict to gain 2 devotion. Devotion you'll be keeping track of on your board here. Your board itself will explain what all the different things mean. So to appease would be to sacrifice units to use the ability on a wrathful tile. So the wrathful tiles are here next to the board, and they could be all different things, like maybe this one here, move 1 unit to or from this conflict, and I can do that by appeasing things. Awaken build, culling, demolishing, getting rid of a glyph, deploying exile, etc. And so you're going to be able to put glyphs in regions, and you're also going to be able to build pyramids in regions, or on top of it, I'm showing one here that's all the different colors, but you get points equal to the number of levels of a pyramid. And then you're going to be fighting. You're going to be determining who wins in a conflict. You have your champion, who's 2 strength plus any bonuses. Glyphs will give you a strength, and shamans and warriors give you a strength. But other things can happen and depend, again, based on special abilities that you've gotten, etc. Now, I'm kind of glossing over a lot of the stuff that has to do with this game. When you finally resolve a conflict, each conflict is going to give points. Basically, this one here, for example, gives 5 victory points, plus a point for each of your shamans in this conflict. And so the game itself, most of the fighting is not necessarily the conflict itself, but these cards that you will be using and learning how to use the cards properly for your god versus the other ones. And there's going to be a lot of back and forth. A lot of different things are going to determine basically on what your special abilities are. Like, for example, my champion strength is equal to the current age. I might pick that one, and my champion gets 1, 2, 3 as the different ages go by. Or here I can awaken units equal to the current age in any region at the start of my tribe step. Well, I can bring people back. Or when I appease, I do 2 options, or I get 5 victory points when I win a combat. So there's all kinds of different things that can happen on these, and the different cards that you have. And then you're essentially fighting, although you're not rolling dice to fight or anything, it's just going to see who has the majority. But it's also determining where your gods are, because many of the cards are only affected by the regions where your gods are. So you're trying to get to the right spot that will affect the right regions. There's a lot more that's going on in the game than just this, but hopefully it gives you kind of a basic idea. You're fighting over these different areas, and you'll get points for, again, building the pyramids, for winning different locations. And at the end of age 3, you do final scoring. And whoever has the most points is the winner. You're going to also get points for devotion that you've gotten. That's it. Well, obviously, the components in the game are pretty awesome. The miniatures, at least, and these miniatures are really, really cool. They're really well designed. This is probably my favorite one. I mean, it looks like just a giant stone golem, but you can see, even though they're not painted or anything, I feel like they are pretty solid miniatures. I mean, look at this dragon here. Just a really nice done. They're also really cool. The smaller ones are not as unique and interesting, but they're still pretty good, right, for miniatures and games. I'm still pretty happy with them. The tokens are pretty good, although these little tokens that you put in your cards are a little too small for me. And I thought that the player sheets themselves are pretty boring looking, but it's all good. That's really pretty cool. That's pretty much the game itself. Now, what I like about this game a lot is the humongous diversity between the different gods. They really have a different feel to them. But this game, I think, is going to throw some people off, because you're coming into, like, war. Well, don't get me wrong, the game is war. The game is almost a take that game, as you play cards and you're smiting people and rising them back and going back and forth. And I really enjoy that, but it looks like it's an army game, and it's sort of that way, but it feels also like its own entry into this genre of big monsters and stuff moving around. I really like Mezo. It gives you options to build the temples, to build glyphs, to move your devotion, to fight with the stuff. I have some small problems with it. One, I thought the rule book was just not very well put together. It's very generic, very few examples. I think it should have included full-page examples of a turn. I mean, I had the advantage of playing through the game and all, but I just felt like the rule book kind of glosses over a lot of different things in the game, and I felt the game there's a lot going on, and so they introduce concepts first and tell you how to play, and those concepts would have been better done. It just, to me, I thought the rule book could have been better. The other thing is, this would have gotten a seal of excellence from me, except for I want a little bit more. And what I mean, I know there's more stuff in the Kickstarter, but as it is, the 4 gods that are in here and the different tiles that are in here and the cards, that's really cool. But I would have liked, when you're choosing in this game and you play a 4-player game, if you pick one at a time and you pick in reverse turn order, whoever's 4th gets whatever's left over. And maybe I didn't want to play that particular god. I would have liked 6, 7, or 8 gods. those are minor things, but I think I would like to see some more thrown in the box eventually. The art is good. The production is really well done. It's a theme that is not dealt with very often, and it does so in a pretty cool way. John Cladis is mostly known for his small box games. This one is a big box game, and it feels big. There's this back and forth as you play these cards and try to outthink each other and know when's the best time to build something, when's the best time to attack, what are the best units to put on the board. And so I think this game is definitely not going to be for everyone. There's going to be some people, again, who are going into expecting one thing and it's not. It's more like a tug of war or push and pull back between the different regions. But I did enjoy playing it a lot, and I recommend it. That's Mezo. Dice Tower Judgment approved.
Thanks so much for watching another Dice Tower video. If you enjoy our videos, subscribe to the channel for more fun, comprehensive board game coverage. Also, consider joining us at one of our events. Come to Dice Tower Retreat, a small, intimate gathering where gaming is king. Join us for Dice Tower Cruise, the largest board game cruise. Attend Dice Tower West in Las Vegas for gaming fun on the West Coast, or Dice Tower East in Orlando in sunny Florida. Dice Tower Conventions, the friendliest gaming conventions on Earth. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching the Dice Tower.